Welcome to this video on creating a Jamboard for an interactive class activity. Jamboard is a digital interactive whiteboard that is part of Google Workspace, and you can use it online with students asynchronously or synchronously. You can also use it synchronously with an in-person class. To get started, simply go to your Google Drive, click on New, and then go down to where it says More and Jamboard. This starts a brand new Jamboard for you. The first thing you'll want to do is click on where it says Untitled Jam and then type in a name for your Jamboard. The second thing I do typically is I try to put directions on my Jamboard for my students. So I'll go over to the tools that are listed on the left and click on text box. This allows me to type in the directions that I want to give students. I can resize that text box however I want. Also notice on the text box on the top left, I get a little curved line. This allows me to rotate it if I want. Also, you'll see that there are 3 dots on the top right. Anytime you see 3 dots in Google, that means that there are more options. So I can click on that and you can see where I can edit the text box, duplicate it, or delete it. I can also set an order if there are multiple things on a Jamboard. The other tools that are available are the pen. And for the pen, you'll simply notice that there's a little arrow next to it that allows you to choose different options. So here are different kinds of pens I can choose. I can choose different colors. These are limited because this is more like a whiteboard as opposed to a word processor. I have the eraser, the select tool, the sticky note, and I'm going to come back to that. Where I have a tool where I can add an image to my Jamboard. I also can add a shape, and here it also has one of those arrows. So I can click that and I can choose a different shape if I want to. I can choose the text box. And then the last tool there is the laser. So for now, I'm going to go back to the select tool. If I want multiple pages on my Jamboard, or frames as they call them, then I can click the arrow button at the top and that gives me a new frame. And again, I can put in directions. I can pose a question, whatever I want to do. You'll see at the top that there's a set background, so I can change the background if I want. This is really cool because there's a background with dots, there's a background with lines, a graph, a gray graph or a blue graph paper, and then we've got some colors, or you can select an image as background. Now, when students come to the board, I would give them directions to say, click on the sticky note and then type in what you want to add in on our brainstorming. Also notice on the sticky note option, I can choose different colors of sticky notes, or I can choose no background color. I'll keep it yellow and I just simply click save and that puts it on there. I can type in a second note here and then click save, or I can simply cancel. Again, I can move this around. I can rotate. I also have some more options here, including there's that order option. Now I'm ready to share this with my students. So to share it, I would simply click the share button. I'm going to go to get link, but instead of share with Lipscomb University, I'm going to click that. And I'm going to click the down arrow and change this to anyone with the link. I have found that with my students, because they have a mail.lipscomb.edu email address, that sometimes that if I choose the Lipscomb University option on the sharing, sometimes that keeps them out of it because our email address is lipscomb.edu, but theirs is mail.lipscomb.edu. I also want to change the actual permissions. So right now it says viewer. If I leave it that way, they won't be able to put anything on the Jamboard. So instead, I'm going to click that and I'm going to say editor. Once I've made those changes, then I can click copy the link and click done. Now I'm ready to paste that link anywhere that I communicate with students about how they get into things. So this could be in an email. This could be in a Canvas announcement. It could be anywhere in your Canvas course, maybe a page, an assignment, discussion, wherever is most appropriate for you to communicate this. If I'm doing it in an email, for instance, I would simply type words like access the Jamboard, and that becomes my label for the link. So I would highlight that, choose to insert a link, paste the link in there that way. The reason for that is the link to the Jamboard, as you'll see, is quite long. So by creating that label, then it makes it easier for students without having to look at this big, long, ugly URL. So that is how you create a Jamboard for an interactive class activity.